Welcome everybody to Robbs MetalWorks. We are here at the Rock Box tonight for a kick-ass guitar show, and it brings me great pleasure to welcome a man that you know. Yes, I have with me the incomparable master guitarist, the man right here. Here he is, Gus G. Gus, welcome to San Antonio. Welcome to Texas. Great to have you.
Oh man, what an intro. Thank you. Thanks.
No, I'm really excited to be here, man. I'm a fan.
Cool. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Lots to talk about, Gus. And first of all, I want to talk about, obviously, we're going to get into your record right now because that's up in the forefront. You released your latest solo, your third solo record, Fearless, back in April. I love it, man. And it's definitely, to me, kind of like a new side of Gus G. You were delivering something a little differently this time for the fans.
Yeah, you can say that. I mean, I think the biggest difference compared to the other two records that I've done is that this time it was, the first two records were sort of collaborations with a different artists, different drummers or bass players or primarily singers, whereas this time, we're trying out this power trio type of format, of a band, and we have Dennis Ward, who plays bass and sings, and Will Hunt of Evanescence played drums on it. He's an amazing drummer, and I think that really, made a difference. It was, made the record sound more cohesive. Musically speaking, I don't think it's that much different from what I've done in the past. Kind of like just maybe a bit more focused, I would say. Just more focused songwriting, sort of picking up where the last record, Brand New Revolution, left off, which was a mix of modern metal with some retro moments and some hard rock moments here and there. Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems too like people love Gus G because virtuoso, master guitar player, and it kind of seemed like with this release you kind of. There were some few tracks where you kind of shred, and it's all about guitar, no vocals, and then there's some songs that are just really focused on the song.
Yeah, you're right. There's a good blend of instrumentals versus vocal tracks. Primarily it's vocal tracks, but there's like 3 instrumentals on there where, like you say, it's a little bit more of a showcasing the guitar playing, and but there's a lot of guitar all over the place, all over this record. But to me, it's just like, it's obviously it's a driving force behind this, for the song. But it really is about writing catchy, memorable songs.
Is that the kind of like the evolution of Gus G as a solo artist? I also want to quickly mention too, and fans may know this. This is your first solo record after the Ozzy ban, and how much of an impact did that make in how you approached what you're doing solo wise?
Well, first of all, because I was saving a lot of ideas over the years that I thought maybe could end up on a possible future Ozzy record that that obviously didn't happen. So there was a lot of ideas laying around that I was like, what, I want to use this stuff now and put it onto my own record. Matter of fact, there is one song that we wrote on the record on the road with Ozzy like 6-7 years ago, obviously without his vocal lines or lyrics, right. But the music and the arrangement that I had made, I wanted to use that one. It's a song called Don't Tread on Me. But I don't know, it's I guess to me it was just like getting it a bit more focused and going into the studio like, okay, now I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna put together a new band and I'm gonna really do this, and I want to make a record that is really going to define who I am as a solo artist, because obviously Firewind, we already have our style and sound that we've been following our path for a number of years already. Yeah.
And I want to thank you too, because before I heard your record, I really didn't know much about Dennis Ward, who you have singing on the record, and I really have become a big fan of his too. His singing on the record is just amazing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's primarily known as a bass player of a band called Pink Cream 69. They're a German band, and another band called Unisonic. It's a band that he's in with Michael Kiske, the singer of Halloween. But he's also a producer and songwriter, and he mixes a lot of records back home for bands and engineers, and so he's become like me and him. We've become really good songwriting partners. The last 2-3 years we worked together on the latest Firewind record, Immortals, and kind of continued from there. onwards, you know, and I just kept sending him material, and then in the end it was like, because he does all the vocal lines on the demos, and he would send it back to me. I would send him the riffs and stuff. He would send me back, hey, what do you think about this vocal line or this idea? And in the end it was just like, well, who do we get to sing for this thing? And it's like, hey, it kind of makes sense that you're the singer and we go out as a trio, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad you kind of mentioned that he produced Immortals from Firewind, for all you people who don't have that one yet. I'm a big fan of that record too, but let's not talk about that right now. We'll talk about it a little bit. You could have, really kind of worked with a group of people or anybody you really wanted to, like you did on Brand New Revolution. You got Will Hunt to do drums, obviously a well-respected and revered drummer. What was it like? What did these guys kind of bring into the table for you? Obviously, they're pro players, and kind of you got to be at the top of your game when you're playing with these kind of guys.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you get to work with musicians like that, people like Will or Dennis, they really lift the songs up, with their playing and their ideas. Like obviously I write the music and I put the skeletons together and all the arrangements and do the demos and stuff. But then when you get like a real drummer, get in the room and start playing this, then to me that's really exciting what he brings to the table. And Will's style was really a perfect fit for this album.
Is he touring with the band or no?
No, he's not, because his main gig is Evanescence, obviously, and that's a pretty huge band. So so he's busy.
That means he's kind of costly.
Yeah. No, it's he really wanted to join us and play, but he's always on the road with Evanescence. Hopefully we can do some shows together someday. I'd love that.
Let's talk about lyrically Fearless. I hear a lot of really cool overtones in there. Did Dennis do all the lyrics, or did you kind of help him? How did y'all collaborate on lyrically and what was going on?
He did the majority of it. I'm not much of a lyric writer. I do have ideas for song titles, and I'll say, hey, maybe we should write about this or that, and then I'll throw him some ideas, and then he'll kind of like put pen to paper and complete the song. I contributed maybe a few lines here and there, but that's about it. He's the main guy responsible for the lyrics.
And then the cover, the Dire Straits cover.
Yeah, we did a cover of Money for Nothing, which is really cool. We sort of updated the lyrics a little bit, because now you can't say
get your LCD.
Yeah, it's saying now we got LCDs. We don't have color TVs like they had back then, or now it's like the original song says I should have learned how to play the guitar, but now we say I should have learned how to beatbox or loop the drums, because obviously the DJs are the new rock stars.
Was that when I first heard the record and that song came out, I was like, holy smokes! I would have never thought you would have covered a track like that. How did you decide upon that track? Is that like I guess you just kind of highlighted? Was that a track that you listened to as a young man?
Absolutely, I grew up with it. Actually, it was my wife's idea. She thought, because I was making like a short list of what songs I would like to cover, and she goes, "You should do that. How about that?" I was like, "Hey, that's a cool idea." So I YouTubed it, and I'm like, I don't see anybody that has made a cover of that the recent years. So I'm like, yeah, let's just. Then my mind started working. I started playing the riff on the heavier strings, trying to make a heavier version of it, and that's how we went.
It's super heavy and it sounds great, man. The copy of Fearless that I have has 10 tracks, but I found out in preparation for this interview that there's a couple of other bonus tracks out there that fans can get their hands on.
Well, actually available, like on the streaming platforms like Spotify, you have all 12 tracks, and you probably have the Jewel Case edition, but but on the limited edition of the
Digipack, right?
Then we have the 12 tracks, and there's 2 more songs, originals. One of it is called Little Late Enough, and then there's another one which is called Aftermath, and it's an instrumental.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. You guys also have done a couple of really cool videos in support of Fearless. One of them is like the really cool performance video with the fire and the flame and all that.
Yeah.
Is that Letting Go?
The first single, Letting Go. Yeah, correct.
Cool.
Yeah.
You like doing those videos?
Yeah, of course. It can be a bit tiring being on the set the whole day and then just kind of like faking it like that. But it's always, to me, I'm always, because I'm into visual stuff and all that, so I'm always excited to see like what kind of techniques we're gonna use for each video and try out new things, and I'm always interested to see what the final outcome will be. So yeah.
Gus, and too, I have to share with the people out there, after you finish watching this interview, be sure, I love the video that you did in your home back in Greece. I think it was Coffee and Guitars with Gus G. I love that video, man, because you show all your equipment and then you're talking about good coffee and stuff, and people see where you live. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of traction right now, this video. We just shot it actually last week, right before I flew out here for this tour.
Yeah.
And I had my videographer come down the house one day, and I'm like, hey, let's just do a little video with my home gear, like all the guitars that I've collected and
all your pedals.
So yeah, some of the pedals that I've had, some of the amps that I've had over the years, and that's just a part of it because I have stuff in storage, in London, in LA, so there's stuff all around the world. But and then I have a bunch of stuff at home. So I thought it would be a cool idea. I know people are interested in that stuff, and because they always ask me how many guitars do you have. Like I don't know. I don't count. It's not a competition. I'm not a guitar collector. I collect the guitars. Basically, they are my signature models with the companies that I've worked over the years, and most of them are prototypes or guitars that we developed through time, and then we make adjustments. The evolution of the models that we created originally. So, and then next thing you know, like in 10 years, you have like 50 guitars laying around the house. So then you need a bigger house to put everything. Yeah.
I want to talk about your star guitar here in a little bit. What does the rest of the fall hold for Gus G? What do you want to do?
Well, right after this US tour, I'm going back to Europe. I'm doing a UK headline tour in October and then continuing all over in mainland Europe until middle of December. And I think then it's Christmas break. In January, we're going to be doing an extensive tour in my country, in Greece. Mm-hmm. And then I'm actually coming back for the Monsters of Rock cruise in February. Nice. And I don't know what's coming up after that. We'll see.
You're good to go for a long time, though.
Yeah. So the next 6 months are planned out already. Yeah.
Okay, lots of guitar geeks watch our show. Have to talk about your star guitar, which is your signature Jackson model. People have seen you with it. Obviously, you've been with other companies before. So for those people who still are learning about your new guitar, how long have you been with Jackson now? I don't even know.
We started working together in 2016, so it's been 2 years. Okay. Yeah. And we put out my star guitar models in 2017, and they were very well received. I love these guitars. I play them every night. Yeah. And with
Seymour Duncan pickups.
Yeah, with my Seymour Duncan pickups. My signature pickups that we've had for a while ago. The Fire Blackouts. What else?
Can you share any specific specs on it that are like kind of unique to you? I mean, do you like that thick neck, or is it a smaller, thinner neck for you?
Actually, I'm used to playing thicker necks. It's a little bit of a misconception maybe that all these guys that play fast stuff, they need to have all these thin necks. Right. Maybe most of them do, but I always like the thicker necks because I think a lot of the tone is in the wood of the neck. So and I like to have a thick, big tone, Yeah.
Speaking of tone, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you also strictly play Black Star amplification? Is that true? Or?
Oh yeah. I've been with the Black Star guys. These guys are like family to me. I've been with them since more or less since they started. We started working in 2010. They brought me down an amp in when I was recording Scream back then with Ozzy, and that has been my amps ever since. I mean, obviously we developed a signature model, and but I don't only play my signature model. Whenever that's not available, I play other models of theirs. And yeah, they're one of the best companies out there, in my opinion.
Where are they from, Gus?
They're from Northampton, England.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard about them, seen them, but I don't think I've ever really had an artist that I know who strictly endorsed Black Star. Yeah. I think you're the first I've ever met.
Really? Okay. They're British guys. Yeah. It's a lot of those guys. They used to be with Marshall for a long time, and they've developed a bunch of their models, and so they know what they're doing. They know what's up, and eventually they went on to do their own company, and it's been very successful.
Okay, Gus, thank you so much. As we end out, though, man, as I highlighted earlier, I want to talk to you about Firewind. Yeah. I was a huge fan of Immortals, man. God, I think that's the best work you guys have ever done.
Wow, thank you. It's my favorite album that we've done, so thank you.
The Leonidas track is crazy.
Yeah. It's kind of cool that we've been talking about doing that concept thing about in some part of our history, and for years and years, and we're like, okay, what do we do? How do we do this? Actually, that's how Dennis entered the fold, like in the because we didn't know how to write a concept album. I went to him and I said, look, this is what we're thinking. We got the music, but how do we put this, in the storyboard, like in lyrics? And he helped us out to do that, and it was a really good collaboration. The tour was really successful. We I don't know. We visited 25 countries, I think. Sadly, not North America, but hopefully on the next run, on the next record. Yeah.
Can you, at this point, obviously, Fearless is still very young, but in your cycle, but can you still, at this point, share a little bit about what you would like to do with Firewind? Do you want to reconnect with those guys maybe in 2019, 2020?
Oh, yeah. I think we're probably going to go out and do a few festivals next summer over in Europe. It's a discussion that we're having right now. Hopefully we'll have enough of those festivals, go out and play again. And at some point, once this the Fearless tour winds down, the solo tour, we want to go back and start writing new music, new Firewind music.
Nice. Gus, such a pleasure to have you on our program. Any last words, anything that I missed that you might want to share with fans around the world who will see this?
I don't know. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks to you for having me over.
My pleasure.
And I guess keep listening to rock and roll and heavy metal. Yeah.
Remember, everyone out there, the latest from the man is already out there. It came out in April on AFM Records. It is called Fearless. Go download it right now. After you watch this interview, you saw Gus G only right here on Robbs MetalWorks.